Everyone, and welcome. So I'd like to share with you a few words that I hope will help us all to come into this coming week, this coming Shabbat, the beginning of all beginnings. We start this coming Shabbat reading again the first portion, Beresheet, the portion of known as Genesis. Beresheet means at the beginning. And one of the ideas, one of the secrets that the Zohar, the Kabbalists, the Rav speak about is the idea that this Shabbat can help all of us to implant the energy and the understanding within ourselves of beginnings. We all love beginnings. There is a lot of energy within anything that we start fresh and new. However, after the phase of any beginning, we getting into other phases, which creating the process. And unfortunately, what happens most of times is that in the process, we forget the beginning. We forget the energy of the beginning. We forget why did we even get ourselves into certain things that we find ourselves suddenly in life involved with. But the energy of the beginning, as we know, has the energy, what we call as Keter, the energy of the crown, the energy of the seed. And like the seed of a tree, the seed contains all the power and all the information of anything that will become manifested later on. In our life, obviously, we have free choices that we make, unlike a tree in the nature, that it goes just by the program of the tree. And as humans, we are not always aware and know how to make the best choices in each phase. But one thing that is available to all of us is the ability to reconnect with the seed level, getting ourselves in our mind. And don't forget and never underestimate the power of your mind. Your mind is the force eventually that creates all the reality that you have and all the life that you have. With our mind, we have the ability to go back, yes, in time even, into the first phase of anything that became a process. And when you getting yourself back into the first phase, into the beginning of things, it might be a relationship. The seed level of the relationship might be a very powerful seed. In the process, things might happen. One of the most powerful things is when things happen, when things not exactly going in the way that you would want them to be, is to pause and to get yourself into kind of a mind trip. With your mind, go back into the beginning, reminding yourself, why did you choose what you have today? In the seed, all the energy exists. So one thing that is available for all of us, yes, not always we will choose the most elevated choice. However, even when we choose different directions that they are not serving us in the best ways, there is always a way to go back into the seed. The second thing is that the Kabbalists explain the book and the portion of Beresheet begins with the letter Bet and different level of energy. And the letter Bet represents the energy of bracha, which means a blessing. What the Rav explains regarding blessing, each one of us might ask for different blessings. And what happens if two people invest in the stock market and there is change in the market, and one of them is losing, one of them is winning? Asking for a real blessing in our life, when we look at it from the Kabbalistic perspective, it is not asking, bless me in the way that I understand what I want or what I need at this specific moment. Since many times we don't really see the totality of the picture. And many times we ask for certain things that it feels as if they are the right things for us at the moment. And eventually we might realize they're not really the best things. You might get into a business partnership with somebody and you really pray hard that that they will agree, maybe to invest in something that you do. And you have the meeting with them and you get what you want. They're truly investing in your idea and you are very excited and happy. It might be that along the way, you realize that you made the wrong choice regarding the person that you made them being partner with you. And there is lots of negativity around it, and maybe you wish even that you'd not get what you ask for. So I think we all get this idea at this point. But since this is the beginning now, we can, first of all, awaken this deep level of realization and understanding that when we ask for the blessing from Kabbalistic perspective, because there are many ways of looking at it, but since we studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, so from this perspective, it is not asking for the blessing that I feel that I need or I think that I need at this specific moment. Because if a blessing that I draw into my life eventually will not serve me for the good, so maybe this is not a real blessing. If a blessing that I see as a blessing at this phase of my life might affect negatively the life of another person, I win and they lose, we don't look at it as a real blessing. A real blessing is the ability to see things from beginning to end, all the way through. And yes, there are moments and phases that don't feel as positive as blessings, but if we are able to tap into the totality of the picture, we'll be able to see how even things that sometimes don't feel as the right things that we need, they're actually needed to serve us to move through the different phases into what is really waiting for us. The last thing is that the reason the Kabbalists explain why the word Beresheet begins, if you look at the scroll where the Torah is written, there is a large bet. There are three sizes of letters in the Torah. There is the majority of the Torah is the normal size of the letters. There are some places, few places, where we can find smaller letters, and a few places where we can find large letters. So the letter Bet, which represents the blessing, in the beginning, is a large letter. Any place in the Torah where we can find a large letter, we know it is a place where we can plug in to the energy in the frame, in the level of Bina. Bina in the Tree of Life, one of the most elevated dimensions. Bina literally means understanding. Now, since we all, most of times, in our perception, are limited by time and space, not always we are capable really to see in our mind at the moment the big picture and the process from beginning to end. So we are getting locked in one moment and judging the moment according to the way it feels and not according to the totality of the the process. The large bet in this parasha is there to provide all of us with additional awakening of consciousness and ability for this coming year to have our mind elevated into a place that we will be able to feel and to see more often, at least to search for it, and hopefully to be able to connect with the idea of seeing all the way through from beginning to end, and not judging things and different situations in our life based on what we feel at certain moment. And when you're capable to see in a larger scale your process, more likely that you'll have more control over the process, more likely that you'll be able to keep yourself balanced in this process and to make better choices in your process. So we have all of this amazing, powerful energy that is being awakened just before Shabbat and into this coming Shabbat that can give us so much elevation and energy and healing for not only for the coming week, but for the coming year. Thank you so much for joining, watching, commenting, and want to wish you Shabbat Shalom. Have an amazing and powerful and blessed week, and I will see you in the next video.